coming at you from a couple of stools in the low-class studios. This is a feminist and a comedian walk into a bar. The weekly podcast of cool shit featuring me, your host, this week at least, Jackie Manti. I'm a writer and feminist, and today,
You're just a feminist.
feminist, I know, I
It's
have
not.
all
It's
my
not a
superlatives.
feminist and a writer and a comedian walk into
And
a
I'm a
bar, but the
brand.
writer and the feminist are one person.
I'm
That's too long. Our title is already long as it is.
With me, as always, is the comedian in the title and literally nothing else, Justin Golak.
Fair.
Today, I'm sipping on, I made a frozen strawberry lemonade. Freezy.
What's the? Now, did you just freeball this
Yeah.
because we had some leftover lemonade and you bought some strawberries?
Yeah, we had a visitor this weekend, and we got really high one night and bought a bunch of snack foods and sugary drinks, and so we had a lot of, the food was all gone, but the sugary lemonade was still available and in the fridge, and I wanted to use it. So I put in our Ninja blender 2 cups lemonade, like a fuck ton of strawberries, and some ice, and just blended that, and it's beautiful.
Is it
It feels
tasty?
like summer, and I want it to come soon. It tastes really good. It just tastes like strawberry lemonade.
Nice.
Yeah, but
So it worked.
I like it. I'll do this in the summer
Tight.
for sure to get my fruit serving for the day. That's how that works, right? I just really like the frothy pink coloring. Really is what most of it is,
But it still tastes
but
good.
it still tastes good. Yeah, it's
Good.
not just vanity.
You did it.
What are you sipping on?
I'm sipping on per usual. I'm living that hashtag sauna life. Hit me up on the social medias with your hashtag sauna life stories. So I need to rehydrate. So from the biggest state in the union all the way to the third biggest city in the United States, sipping on a Lone Star in Chicago from Texas. I don't know if Texas is the biggest state. Is it California? I'm talking surface
Alaska's
area.
really big too.
Ooh, yeah, that it probably is the biggest.
I'll Google it. You film.
If it's the third biggest in land
I'm gonna
mass,
Google what is the biggest state in the union
by land mass, not by population. That's what people often confuse.
by land mass. Hell yeah, Alaska.
What's Texas? 3?
Number 2.
It's 2?
And California's 3.
Be cool if it was coming from the third biggest state to the third biggest city
Yeah,
by mass and population, respectively.
but it's not.
I know.
Alaska doesn't count though. Just say Texas is number 1.
Sounds racist. But I don't know. I just wanted to say something cool
Just those
because
mainland states.
I am living that sauna life, hashtag sauna life, and sipping on a Lone Star. So that means we got another riddle for you guys on the Twitter at Justin Golak. Check out, I'll post a screenshot of the under the cap riddle that all Lone Star bottles have. It's not it's like a riddle. It's a, what is it, an anagram, right? We decided? Pictogram?
Pictogram.
What is it?
Not an
Anagram's
anagram.
That's words.
That's when you rearrange the
Is it
words.
pictogram? Is that right?
I think pictogram's right. Yeah.
That's where you like the pictures make us saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to.
Did you figure out the one with the
deduce it.
otters?
I don't think so, but now I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think we figured it out.
So.
I thought about it the other day when I was in the shower. I'm like, maybe they were seals. I don't know.
It's still up on my Twitter
Or a
if
sea
you need
lion.
to look at it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll respond to you.
Yeah, if any of you out there know the answer to last episodes or this episode's, which we still have not figured out yet, after looking at it for a minute or two.
We figured out the first word.
Yeah, hit us up on the, hit me up on the Twitter at Justin Golak. If you know the answer, you could always tag Jackie with an @Jackie_Manti in your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, get involved. Let's have some fun.
I should try to get @Jackie Manti. I wonder if that's taken.
I don't know. Why don't you check right now?
Okay.
Do you have to sign up for a new account, or can you just
I don't
switch it as long as
know.
it's not taken?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess I could use one of my. Oh, it doesn't exist.
Nice. But not saying @Jackie_Manti for so long.
I know, but like I don't want like a robot to be @Jackie Manti. Like I'm Jackie Manti.
You want to hope that there's a robots
Tweeting out
because then
porn.
you can get that verified, which is the game changer. The big thing to get the verified check is proving that there's impersonators. There's like other things. You want some followers and all that jazz. You want to
so
tweet
I'll
a
leave
lot.
it open.
Leave it open.
Okay.
See if you can get that blue check mark. Then you're a real person. All right, take us into these topics.
All right. Before I do, you guys catch up on all the episodes. This is episode 61. We're doing this for 2. Yeah, I'm even numbers.
Yeah.
You can check it all out at FemComPod.com. That is all of our past episodes. So you can get our thoughts and raves on everything that's happened in the past year or so, that we've deemed worthy of talking about. And you can always low class to see the rest of our content from Justin and Jackie, and that's lo-class.com. And Patreon also.
Patreon.com
Patreon.com. I always let you do the Patreon.
Patreon.com/hello class.
No dash.
No dash. Yeah, we got some rewards up there, but come in for $1 and just get some content. We already got some stuff up there.
Cool.
Let's do something soon. Let's do a new bonus thing. I told you, I pitched you an idea. Let's just tease it at that. But let's look into doing. Let's do a little bonus episode sometime soon.
So go be a Patreon now, guys. $1 a month.
You did the same mistake I made. Become a patron.
Become a Patreon.
No,
what
just
did I
patron.
say?
Patron
Oh,
on Patreon.
become a patron on Patreon. It's confusing.
I know.
All right.
I told you I make the same.
All right. So topic 1.
Yup.
Okay. So all in our faces is the Facebook trauma. Basically, it's stock prices are hemorrhaging, and there's I've seen ads, not only on TV but on. I was walking in downtown Chicago, and those like street side ads, just little boxes.
Mm-hmm.
There was an ad for Facebook, but like a PR campaign, basically. We're gonna fucking fix it, is what it said.
Their big thing is, did it say we're gonna fucking fix it?
No.
Oh, okay. You're just saying that was the message.
That was the message.
I was just wondering if they were.
I wish that would have been.
Because they're like a hip company, they could maybe
get away
off,
with
but that's
it.
usually not their voice.
They're in trouble right now. I think they're.
But they're kind of what I've been seeing on the TV ad is kind of just they've been talking about what they were already talking about introducing months ago, which is like that you're going to see more from your friends and family and less from advertisers and stuff like that.
The new algorithm. And I think it's interesting that they don't use, they don't say fake news, they say false news. I wonder if fake news is copyrighted.
It's probably not copyrighted, but as that
connotation.
That connotation.
Yeah. Or they can't like obviously say. Okay, but so this story, I have a generalized question where all of the things that have been happening with Facebook come into play, but what sparked this was this story about Facebook saving extensive call and text data made by Android users, which we both are. But Facebook has been scraping years worth of call and text data from Android phone users, and the company clarified Sunday that it only collects the data on users who opt in to the feature when installing Messenger or Facebook Lite, which, when you install Messenger on your phone, it's like, yeah, okay, I don't care. I don't read the terms and conditions. Opt out. And then,
well, they always just like anytime they want to sync with my phone, I'm just like, no.
You don't allow. Do you do that with all apps?
Pretty much.
Because some
I'm
you,
really
like,
stingy.
need to be there.
If there's like no other way and I need the app, I'm not. Again, like it's kind of like we talked about advertising and like how some people go all the way of like, I'm not affected by advertising at all, and like and like I think you can mitigate how much you're affected, but it's obviously these are professionals trained to manipulate you. So like you're gonna, as long as you're seeing ads, you're gonna get some like you're gonna be swayed somewhat sometimes, something every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they have plenty of my data, but I would say they probably have less than most. But I'm not sitting here like, nah, man, I opt out. It's like, yeah, I got. I'm sure there's plenty of data on me, but I do. I am constant. I actually just real quick. Sorry, I know this is off topic, but kind of on topic. But like, so they had like the old like OK Google. You just say OK Google on your Android phone. You go like OK Google, and then
the voice recognition.
Yeah, and then you would just ask it to do stuff. But now with the update, I mean, like a year ago even, so it's been a while, but maybe like 2 years. But then now OK Google is called like Google Assistant. You still say OK Google, but it's supposed to be like more feature rich. I can't use mine because in order to use it, you have to opt in to like have them save your history because it's supposed to make it work. But they like won't let you use it. I'll try. I'll be like, okay, Google, navigate to, and they'll be like, we need anything I ask it to do. They'll be like, we need, and before they didn't, and like I have all my history turned off, like maps history. Like I don't have any Google history turned on,
Why do you do that?
except I guess technically my YouTube history is turned. It's not like a Google
Yeah.
thing, but I don't mind that. I don't know. It just seems creepy that they would every place search on the map and stuff. I don't know.
It's just interesting. It's such a personal choice, right? Of where you draw the line.
Yeah.
You know, that you're like, well, I don't care. You can have some of this data, but
Everyone's it's weird.
don't
Like
look at my map.
it's still weird, and it's again it's like I said. It's like I want to be vigilant, but also like I don't give a shit. And also it's something I was thinking about when thinking about this thing. It's like they're just. I mean, in the like they're still just trying to sell you widgets. You know what I mean? And even like when they're trying to sell you a candidate, it's just so they can get in power and get some fucking money for some fucking Wall Street banker speech that they give in 4 years, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all just money. Like, I think that this weird thing that they're trying to, like, take the world, I just don't think there's really any cartoonishly villainous people.
That Facebook's trying to take over the world?
I don't think anyone. I don't think these villainous, just evil people really exist. Like, I think underneath what seems like those actions is just someone trying to get more shit. And it's usually just by selling you shit. Like they just want this to sell you G instead of Chryslers or whatever. Which doesn't make it better. I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying like that's why like I get benefits of this technology. I realize it compromises certain parts of my privacy, but I do like that I can mitigate some of it, but sometimes it's creepy. I mean, I just know like when I'm navigating, there's like these 4 little dots, which I think are supposed to it's like a circle with 4 little colored dots. And I think that's supposed to be like the OK Google thing. Cause like you can say while you're driving, like, OK Google, find me a gas station. And it kind of, those dots kind of shake. But every once in a while, I'll notice them just shaking. And because I'm like, why is that? Did I accidentally like set it off? If I touch it, it'll say like audio sent to justingolak.com, like audio saved. It's like, I have it where like my audio doesn't save, and I've like purged my history before, and like so I'm like I didn't touch anything, and I don't have that turned on, and I didn't. Okay, Google, is it doing that Echo thing, that Amazon Echo thing, where it's just like recording all the time that you're? I don't know. So it's creepy, but
well, I
also think they're just trying to sell me tents or something.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
to an extent, but I mean, but that's what we're running into now when we're seeing how like so on top of this story there was a Cambridge Analytica story that broke maybe a week before this one, right, where they were trying to sell you, so they were gathering your data to try to sell you a candidate, right? And but what's interesting about that, the Cambridge Analytica thing, I mean, it's super convoluted, and like this is like a Cliff Notes version, is that like that where they were getting this from wasn't from advertising or like you're clicking, it was so the rule in books like guy whatever rule, this is Wild Wild West, so like this could all change and should like they're gonna start regulating this now, but for academic research you could harvest people's microdata basically, right? And in as far as like psychologically, right? So there was a researcher who was doing these personality tests, right? You know, those things like, what kind of gummy bear are you? And like you would click it and you'd these things, and then you'd be like, oh cool, let me share this with my followers, this is so innocent and fun. But they were gathering all this data about you, and I had to opt in. So they would have all your information about where you married, where'd you go to school, where do you live, you know, and eventually they can find where these chunks or like groups of people live. That's where you target, right? Well, so then the researchers sold it to this political targeting firm that was hired by Trump. That's where they ran into the problems, right? Because all the politicians do that. You know, advertising does. That's like what you're saying. They're just trying to sell you a thing. And so they're trying to sell you a person. Ted Cruz did it first. And even kind of said, like, it didn't really work as well as other things. And I think that's the point that has been all along, too, is that it's not. But I think it's important to look at this as well. Like, it's not, that's not Donald Trump won. But, like,
well, because also Ted Cruz it, and he just got fucking annihilated.
Was he the soup guy who had like lots of canned soup?
Yeah, like his wife sent him to buy soup, and he I'm at the grocery store and he just brought back soup. I don't know. I think she thought it was like it's like when you
it's
have
like a
to think
cute
of
little
an
story.
but when you have to think of an endearing story
Like an anecdote.
to what everyone on both sides of the aisle think is just a goofy figure of a man. That's like the best you can do. I think that's why that story was so funny because it's like I feel like I'm kind of a monster and you probably if you're like what's something that Justin does that just he's just a silly you could think of something
Yeah.
that most people would be like okay he's gruff on the podcast but he's a little goofball. But that's why like from all I've heard everyone Republicans Democrats everyone hates Ted Cruz and you just got to assume his wife does if in like a totally softball question of like just give us a cute thing he did she's just like I don't know once he went to the store to get groceries and he just brought some soup and he like even tried to he's like I know I just like I'd never really shopped before and I like soup so I bought soup and it's like
Oh my god,
it's
my
not
favorite.
cute or it's just like it's like weird.
My favorite.
That's
Ted
like
Cruz
a where
clip
are
was
the
when-
bodies buried story. What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
in the soup pantry.
Yeah, where are the raped 6-year-olds in your basement?
Oh no, don't do that far. What was I gonna say? Oh, my favorite Cruz like video clip is when again, yeah, like he just doesn't know when to be like how to socialize and be when he did like a whole scene from The Princess Bride, like acted it
Yeah.
out. And, like the people he was with were like, "This is so funny," but oh my god, it's still going. Oh, he's nailing that voice. Like, he's done this. I think he's just a nerd. Like he's like a religious nerd.
I think he's just like the future. I think he is just this like amalgamation of like you know the kind of just weird, you know, really imperfect idea that like you know we have these well he's a senator Ted Cruz but still like I mean just Congress in general this idea that like you know a house at least this is what I always heard and it kind of makes sense like oh a house you know like a House of Representative term is 2 years because you know a farmer goes and he serves his constituents and then he goes back to the farm and then a lawyer goes and then a housewife goes probably not a housewife they probably didn't envision that but you know what I mean like it was kind of supposed to be this kind of, it wasn't supposed to be a career thing. I think like a lot of these.
It was like a civic service.
It was kind
like
of
a
like,
volunteer.
Yeah.
You serve your time and then.
Right. And then I just think
for
like,
the greater good.
And then it just became like, it's just weird to think like.
Such a business.
I just think that's what democracy, or at least this representative democracy in its kind of best state was supposed to be some version of. It was supposed to be some version of like, yeah, anyone that has good ideas can be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like we had a king and they were like godlike, or we had a general because we were taken over by like a you know kind of like guerrilla army. It was supposed to be this kind of government for the people, of the people, by the people. So it wasn't just that we voted. It was like, yeah, you just have a guy who has some good ideas and he goes, does a couple years in Congress and then he goes back to his, you know, dentist job. And then so on, you know, like we kind of, maybe he does a couple terms. And then it became this whole career where it's like, that's always the thing. It's like, what are you good at besides being a politician? You know what I mean? Like we almost forgot, like, what does that job entail? Like the job has become getting elected to that job. That's the skill. It's not doing anything productive once you're there. And I feel like Ted Cruz is like the ultimate crescendo / bastardization of just like, he's unliked because he's not trying to be anything. He's just trying to be liked. And no one likes that. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, how about I do a whole scene from The Princess Bride? Isn't that, I believe that's a movie that tests high, and this is and reciting movie quotes as a style of humor that is
like that at all.
that is
it was that he just was a nerd.
I
like,
don't know. It just seems like he doesn't have a personality.
Mm.
He's just trying to be what you. It's clear. It's just like watching someone like, I heard that I think that you might like this if I did it. I think.
Well, speaking of that,
it's
I mean,
weird.
that's sort of
we don't.
how,
I mean, this
it's
isn't
sort
the
of how
topic,
people act on Facebook, right? It's like,
right.
Is this likable? Do you
True.
like it?
True.
So
That's a good,
I mean,
that's
so
a
we're
good
sort
point.
of. It's kind of transcending to all of culture. So my
Right.
question though for this topic is would you ever leave Facebook and what would make you have to do it?
Can I ask you one more question related to data?
Sure.
But then I will answer that. Like, I just think, like, do you think as someone that works in advertising, because that's what I think. It's like okay, so now it seems weird because we could look through your data and we could go like we think that Packers fans with a blue collar job who have military family members between the ages of 24 and 28 will vote this way, or we can message them this way to try to get the, what I mean? Like it's like, what did they call it? Like hyper
It's micro
micro-targeting. And like you said, like this is just like again, like they would still do this by putting their television ad, between the Simpsons instead of between 60 Minutes, right? Because they know roughly who watches that based off TV
Right.
rate.
It's not
It's
a
not
bad
as
thing.
precise.
It's for efficiency. It's
Right.
for getting the most for your advertising
And it's not as
dollars.
precise. Like a TV ad or a magazine ad, it's not as precise, but it's the same concept.
Sure. Like,
So-
what is your audience reading?
So I just think the thing again with this Trump, the Facebook trolls and the Russia collusion, blah blah blah. Like, I mean that's a whole fucking separate topic. But just in general, the reason that not maybe a certain thing will make me go huh or maybe but in general, why I don't care, or even maybe just a little more so don't care yet, is because I need to be shown that there is a tipping point where precision causes is unfair and harmful to human decision making, and I haven't seen it yet. The comparison I was thinking about today when I was thinking about this topic, it's like genetically modified foods. Like you have these scientists who will take like a very particular DNA trait and select for it and then grow, make seeds and grow food off these kind of very precisely genetically modified foods. And whenever people are like, you don't know if that's safe, I think the relatively fair scientific answer is, look, we've been doing this for years, just less precise. We take the big corn that doesn't seem to get eaten by the bugs and we find another one of those and we mush them together and we make the best corn. And just because it grows bigger, we don't know if there's some underlying trait we're not seeing that we're fostering through the bloodline. We're selecting, and they're kind of saying like it's actually better because we're doing it more precisely. But then people argue like doing it that quote unquote unnaturally, that might cause harm, and we don't really know. It seems logically that again, like I think genetically modified foods probably are okay. I'd also, research is never bad, but it's the kind of the same thing. It just seems like micro targeting it seems more effective in terms of saving money, but it doesn't seem like it's this outrageous manipulation tool any more so than choosing to go in GQ instead of Better Homes and Garden for your political ad, or going between 2.5 Men or the local news or what. Like it seems it's like it's refined, but it doesn't seem any more or less harmful to the American public or democracy. Do you think that's true?
I think that's, yeah, totally. And I think that because to me, I think that micro targeting, again, saving you money, of course, for the bigger guys, right? But think about all the small businesses that will benefit from knowing that their advertising dollars are hitting potential targets.
Well,
right?
I'm just
And
talking like in terms of politics, like because like that's like if a politician uses it, I agree. Yeah, sure.
well,
Yeah.
no, Mark, it's fine. I mean, that's that's how Obama won both
Right.
years.
So
right?
you don't think
Like,
there's like a
I
tipping
think
point?
I think what the problem is in this case is that they got, and with this Android stuff, they're getting it kind of through dark arts,
Gotcha.
right? Like through secretive or manipulative or illegal, we'll see, violations, right, or of code of conduct that Facebook had up,
Yeah.
right? I think what's interesting though is this dichotomy of how slowly these ethical discussions that you're talking about right now, and that we need to have, not just about ethics but legalities of this, like I said, wild wild west, is going to take so much time. I mean, look at this Russia investigation. That's going to go on for years. But Trump might even be out before we even know what all happened, right?
Right.
We are getting a clearer picture of it, but we're still, it's like we're feeling parts of the elephant and not seeing the whole thing, right? But and that compared to the fact that like social media just moves so fast, and my understanding of it and use of it will be totally different a year from now, the same way right now it's completely different from the way I used it a year ago.
For sure. And I do agree that it's obviously super shady, and the dark arts is a great way to put it. And I do think that's worse than the how it's used. But
And I
at
think
the
that's what
same
they're figuring out with these,
right.
like,
And I would love to see
legal.
any regulation that helps the average American citizen, but at the same time, leading up to the, Illinois primaries, which were like last week, I got 5 text messages from different
Me
candidates.
too.
Just like, hey, we hope that you'll consider voting for blah, blah, blah when you look for your attorney general or whatever the fuck. And I don't know how they got my number. I'm not a registered Democrat. I mean, I don't even vote that
I
much.
mean, there'll
So
probably
did
be a class action lawsuit for
that's what
that
I
in
mean.
5 years.
And
You'll
like,
get something in the mail.
and it's like they
about it.
can't robocall, right? Isn't that against the law? Like robocalling.
And even there's a lot of
But they
legalities on subscriptions, right? And like
right.
as soon as you unsubscribe, like they can't message
And
you
I don't
anymore.
remember seeing a way to unsubscribe from these texts.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like if I unsubscribe from the Janet for Attorney General, does that mean I still get the Bob for fucking governor? There should be a if they're getting from a master list, I should be able to unsubscribe from that master list. Is it the state or the city that's selling my information? Is it from my signing up for, you know what I mean, like to vote? Is it my registration, or did I give someone a phone number for like a free hot dog 3 years ago and then they sold my information? I don't know, because I'm sure that's something I would have done.
Phone numbers is interesting. I mean, because like your email address is being like data aggregation is a business. Like you're on lists for people
Right.
of things.
And so
but
that's
like
what
phone numbers weird because I feel a lot less in control as far as who's texting me, or I got one of those and it included a link to
right.
I'm assuming someone's site, but I'm like, I'm not clicking that. Like,
Right.
you blow up my phone or like
Well, that's what I
with
mean. It's just
spam,
like it's
right?
just
There's at least there's ways to be smart about phishing
Right.
in your email.
it just makes me kind of just annoyed. Just like I don't see the difference, and it doesn't mean I'm not annoyed, but it just means like, look, if it, like it just seems weird to just act like the new thing is the bad thing, or the new thing is this worse thing, or something. It's a mutation of the same thing, and it can seem bigger or more expansive or more precise or whatever, but it's still like, how did they get my phone number? How did all these candidates get my phone number? There's no way. If I did not ever sign up for a list to say I would like information on candidates. So that means that whatever way they got it, since they didn't get it that way, it was something shady. So my point is, again, like if you sign up,
Or something that doesn't have a law against it yet.
right? So my point is, like, if you sign up, if you fill out a credit card application at a baseball game for like a free T-shirt, which I'm sure millions of people, you're gonna get 800 million offers for credit cards and things, but because you gave them your information. So my point is if the Which Gummy Bear app is asking you for your address to proceed, or there's permissions, like we need permission to your contacts to play What Gummy Bear game are you, and you're not going like, huh? It's just as dumb as going like, I know I got this fucking Cleveland Indians T-shirt with a MasterCard logo on it, and I know I filled out a form with all my information, but why am I getting these MasterCard things? It's the same thing. Like, and again, they're not supposed to sell it to politicians, like either legally or morally, and like it's not great, but it's also like anytime, like there's no free gummy bear test, there's no free T-shirt, like this is just what happens, and like either put a pin in all of it, or they're going to shut down this kind of thing, and then you're just going to get more text messages. Or they're not going to stop paying money to get their face in front of you.
So would you ever leave Facebook?
Yes, let's get to that. What's fucking weird about it? I talk about this a lot. Is if I wasn't doing comedy, I would probably be on it, meaning like I would have a profile, but I would never look at this motherfucker. It's just like,
that's what a lot of people say. I need it professionally. How many professions need it? all of us?
I don't think so, because the point is like I just assume that when you're dealing with people in your non-creative thing, like you have an email address or a phone number. A lot of times someone's just like, hey, reach out to this person. And the easiest way to reach out to them is search their name. And if they're on Facebook, I can just add them as a friend and send them a message. And then you use it to promote. Facebook groups are a good way to like, again, to me, it's more just like, I would rather use a Google Doc or some sort of professional collaborative app, which there's a ton of. The only reason I use Facebook is because it's free and I'm usually collaborating with people that are just standalone citizens. We don't all work for like Comedy Inc. and we don't all check into like the intraweb for that building and like can communicate that way. So it worked to me again, more even just but as a promotional tool, same with Twitter, Instagram, as someone that's trying to promote a product, which is my comedy, like I use it for that. And I use it a little bit for communication, but I'd rather do email. Most professional stuff I do with like venues and stuff, it's all email. It's just kind of comic to comic. So, but yeah, I don't, when someone's just a person, I'm like, why would you ever be on this thing?
I know, but I think you're not thinking of all the ways people use it, because you're saying I wouldn't need it for my non-creative things, but I use it all the time for my non-creative work. Either to, if I can't get a hold, I don't have their email address, shoot them a message, get the email address, or even just like fact checking a
Yeah.
business's hours against their website and against a phone call. You know what I mean? Like if I can't call and get a hold of them for that info, or just even, even just kind of vetting things. Like, is this person legit, or what do they?
Okay,
Is this
but
company like?
that is still
Do
one
they have only like photos of their food at an angle, trying to be
Okay, but like,
creative? You know what I mean?
yeah, I
Like, is
guess
this
so. But but aren't you that you're working for that business, right? In that situation, and then you're
not
just,
all of them? I mean,
and
when
then
I
you're
do pieces of journalism, all those things set context for what a business is or who a person is before I
yeah.
even talk to them.
But then I think that's kind of the point is then the business is using it and you're kind of just checking it. I don't
Sure,
know.
but like I can't get rid of my Facebook and still look at that stuff.
I
I've gotten
guess
rid
I don't
of I've
know.
gotten rid of my Do you still have a Justin Golak comedian page, like a business profile page basically?
Yeah,
I've gotten rid of that cuz I'm like, oh, this, like, with the algorithms it's never going to show up, and then like I just don't
it
want to
has
have a
some
page.
benefits though. Like I think it's still this way that like I when I'm now I'm producing like Killing Your Darlings plug. If I make an event through my page instead of my personal profile, I can add like a ticketing link.
Mhm.
And there's just like some other things you can do. I don't know. It seems like worth it, but I don't know. Like I said, like it's free, so you might as well try it. Sometimes I run like sponsored posts, like if I just need some information out there. Like it's fine. Like I think it's a good promotional tool, but it's kind of like I mean, like a lot of people doing comedy kind of talk about it. Like if you just post your event on Facebook and then maybe share it a few times and then go to your event and be like, why didn't anyone show up? I promoted the shit out of it. Like, you got to do other shit. So it's like, it's still not a perfect thing, but I think, excuse me, I think it is important. I just think, again, like, so you're just saying, I just think as long as I'm at this level of comedian, I'm probably going to be on it. But I could definitely see, like, if I was able to make a name for myself where I had, like, email subscriber list that was substantial, or I could get press more regularly, or I could pay. I could. I had a budget, a budget to pay for print ads in local paper. I don't know, or whatever, or run like maybe just run Facebook ads, but not just post. I don't know. I could envision a future where either I finally give up the dark arts of comedy, or where I get to a level where I don't need my personal page as much, where I could see myself like unfriending everyone except like family and close friends and
Mhm.
really checking it like once a month just to see like a baby picture or check what the Secret Santa lineup is, at my next family gathering.
Mhm.
I could see whittling it down. Again, it's just one of those things. I'm surprised when people are like, Facebook sucks. I'm like, get off it. I'm like, I'm only on here because I have to, and I'm not even on here that much. But the fact that I'm probably on more than the average person, it makes me sick to my stomach. So I don't know why anyone would be on there. Yeah, definitely get the fuck off it, man. What about you?
um Yeah, I think I'll always be on it. I just pulled up this article from, it was like a New York Times news alert, and it says, this is the headline: "The Stormy Daniels saga and White House turmoil. Some Republicans fear that the midterm elections will be swayed by President Trump's conduct." And I just like laughed out loud because I'm like, no, they don't care. Like, it's his supporters are, they're always going to be behind him. That's kind of how I am with Facebook. Where
Mm.
not that I'm behind it, but like I'll always be on there because it's such a good way to, especially not being near my family, like such a good way to just be present and like have a way for them to see me or see what I'm working on or get into contact with me, and like for whatever, friends, sources, anything. But I do not post on it very much anymore,
Yeah, you really don't.
and I in fact, like, that is on purpose, and I don't get on. Like, I used to always like just, I'd click open a tab and my finger automatically, it's like muscle memory, goes FA. You know what I mean? Because I'm like gonna go log on, and like I've finally have broken that. Now I go to Pinterest instead, to my own little world, so I can escape.
Mm.
But it's just, Facebook makes me fucking furious. I think it's really harmful to our society, and as far as, not, I mean, beyond the political stuff, right? It's just the way it has made us communicate with each other and see other people's lives. It's so reductive, right? Whether from just seeing them as a stereotype or seeing, there was just a really great story about this like Instagram influencer, quote unquote, who faked an entire trip to Disneyland. She was like 30 something, right? She photoshopped photos of her at like at age 22 into images of Disneyland, and like posted about it on Instagram like it was real, and like did her week long vacation at Disneyland, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's a beautiful," and then she was like, "Okay, all of that was fake." Like, I just was just kind of fucked up. Like, fuck you, I didn't follow her, but like I think it makes a good point. Like, that's a cool art piece. And I don't know if she
Yeah.
meant it like that, but like it's a cool way to show like, now what you're seeing here isn't all real. But I think we should know that. Like, again, I just think having those channels open is good, and like it's up to us as humans to figure out how to navigate that in a productive manner, and I think that's what we're doing on a larger scale. It kind of makes me angry that Facebook has to apologize, or that Mark Zuckerberg, like, Mark Zuckerberg needs to handle this, and it's like, we've said it a million times on this podcast, it's not Facebook's fault, it's people's fault. I mean, they do need to work on regulating this stuff, right? They're doing those things, but the fucking wanting Mark Zuckerberg's head on a stake is just crazy to me, because it just feels so anti-personal responsibility, which is again a kind of culture I think we're creating with Facebook too, and just the sensitivity of, like, I think it's harmful for art, as far as like, you can report something that you find offensive. You know what I mean? Even if it's just an act of free speech, right? I think that's scary. So I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram a lot more now because I think I feel safer there. I feel less exposed. There's something about Facebook too where I mean, everyone, almost anyone I've ever met in my life can find me on there and is my friend on there. And that's great too, for like certain parts, but then I also feel very protective of myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't expose all of myself to all of them all the time. And I feel like that's what I used to do on Facebook when it was just friends, or like, or when I was just younger and a little more immature, and would put all that out there, like, I'm having a really sad day, or like, honestly, for attention sometimes, or just genuine feelings that I wanted to express. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't feel safe enough to do that on Facebook anymore. I feel exposed. And that's just the nature of something becoming big. And I mean, it's kind of like this, the discussion of pop feminism, and how, if you, does it take all the teeth out of feminism if everyone's a feminist? You know what I mean?
It does the same way it takes the power away from opinion if everyone can have one.
I mean, that's not true. Everyone can have an opinion anyway. I just,
But it just ruins what an opinion is.
no, I think the problem is that Facebook kind of allows you to feel like you're making a difference, or that your opinion matters more than someone else's, because you can get rid of
Some
anyone's dissenting
opinions
opinion,
do
or
matter more than others. It's the fact that everyone thinks that their opinion should be on
right.
equal ground because now every opinion can be broadcast publicly. And you used to have some sort you used to have opinion of some sort of a claim in order for it to be produced into the public sphere.
Back in the
Now any jagoff can do it. So it's just the marketplace of ideas is just flooded with cheap ideas.
Yeah.
And it's just ruining the marketplace.
Do you remember back when you would watch nightly news as a kid or whatever, and and here's Bob on the street asking opinions, and they'd talk to 3 people, and then you'd be like, okay, cool, we got a little robust view. That's what Facebook is now. Is Bob on the street, but it's your whole news feed, and it's a never ending.
And did an interesting opinion ever come from the Bob on the street segments? No, because most people are uninteresting people with nothing to say.
All right, let's move on.
And now they all have a voice and some sort of ego about said voice. You know what I mean? So it's just I don't really go to Facebook with opinions, because if you have a good opinion, you wouldn't put it there. You'd put it in some sort of publication. Even if that publication is your own website or your own something. At least I know you've taken the time to create that website and curate it and write for it and try to promote it. And even then, I mean, the blogosphere, it's not that's a perfect system. But it's better than just an email address and then everything you think in your dumb, feeble mind. At least it's an extra few steps beyond that shows some sort of commitment, some sort of belief in what you're saying, and not just the need to spew it, right?
I guess. Let's move on.
Okay.
Topic 2. Take us to it.
You got to agree with that, right?
Justin, you just say it so violently.
But it's true.
I don't agree with you. No, I don't even know what you said.
But how many times do you see something?
As soon as you start calling people stupid,
how many times do you see something? And it's not that you think that's wrong. It's not that you disagree with it or dissent towards it. There has to be things that you see and you just go, that is devoid of any intelligence or critical thinking, or just it's like you're a subhuman thing. This is not an opinion that I can even take as an opinion. It's words by a creature. It's like watching it's just, you don't think that's true sometimes?
No, and I think that is not a fucking fair thing to say, to call someone subhuman because they have
they have subhuman opinions.
They can have dumb opinions. That doesn't make them subhuman. It's just your language.
I think that their opinions are subhuman.
You are the Donald Trump of this podcast.
Hey man, I'll be president someday. I can really clean these streets.
I'm gonna write a best-selling book.
Someday a real rain will come away and wash these streets. Was that the line?
I don't know.
Taxi driver? Something like that.
I don't know. I was listening to this podcast about Donald Trump and how they pulled this clip of him from, I don't even know when it was, but he was talking about tech people and how he doesn't really like tech, and how he's better than them because he built a tangible thing where they just build software, and he's like, I'll meet with these guys and they'll be wearing undershirts and roller skates. It was so funny.
I do think that's what's funny about the whole thing, the fact that, again, talking about this micro-targeting and, how it worked for Trump, but it didn't work for Ted Cruz, and obviously that's a sample size of 2, and one of them has to win, but he just got so trounced, and it's just one of these things of, micro-targeting and Facebook and trolls, and it's I still think that, just a fucking brash idiot yelling at morons is always going to have a real fighter's chance. I think it's the same as in 1916 as it is in 2016. I don't think Trump was operating on new world technology. He was working on old world bluster. It's when you shout platitudes at morons, you're always gonna have a chance to win the fight. And I think it worked out for him in a very old school way. I don't think there's anything tech about it. I think it's just really just an old school. Just the shit that's been around since black and white fucking TV. So I don't think it's new tech what he pulled off necessarily. I'm not saying people are subhuman. I'm saying sometimes opinions, I can't believe, come out of a human that has lived X amount of years. I think it's a subhuman opinion. It seems like the opinion of someone that's some other species. It just seems like if you gave a chimp a keyboard and let him espouse his views on gun violence, that's what the chimp would come up with. Doesn't mean I think they should be fucking sterilized. See, that's where I take my full step back and become just a regular person that thinks people are dumb and not some sort of ethnic cleanser.
Okay.
It's a fine line, but I stay clear of the wrong side of it.
Let it be noted.
Let it be noted. Not pro-sterilization
For the
or
record.
sterilization or euthanasia programs. Or no, I'm pro-euthanasia, I guess.
Justin.
But that just means like old people get the choice, right? Or is that when we kill them for them? I guess I am against euthanasia if it's the latter. I don't want to kill anybody or do you think anyone should be killed. But I think there should be a barrier for contributing.
Okay.
I don't think everyone should get to vote. All right, topic 2. I just haven't thought of a perfect system to separate the chaff from the wheat, but I'm working on it every day. All right, so
Glad you're working on something.
well, you know what? When look, you know what?
You should be a cheerleader for a pro football team. You should go be the Bears.
Stop trying to get us into topic 2 just because you want to go to bed, you lazy bitch. So, there's a discrimination complaint by a cheerleader against.
She has the most cheerleadery of cheerleader names.
Bailey Davis.
Bailey Davis.
So she's suing the New Orleans Saints. What are they called again? The Saints-ations. Pretty cool name. So basically what happened is, so according to an investigation, this is what cheerleaders for the Saints, these are rules that they must abide by. I'm just going to read them off. Set all social media accounts to private, block current NFL players from following them, not post any photos of themselves in Saints gear, must not attend any unapproved events where an active player may be, leave any unapproved event, sometimes as basic as dinner at a restaurant, should an active player show up, and limit conversations with active players to hello and good game. So basically, the discrimination lawsuit kind of cites discrimination in terms of like, why are players not forced to have private Instagram accounts? Why can they not be suspended or fired for talking to a cheerleader? Or why when
if a cheerleader shows up, why don't they have to leave the event?
Right. So, and I think this just comes on the heels of something that's happened over the last few years of mostly things related to pay for these cheerleaders. So it says if the Sensation members follow these rules, then they'll have the opportunity to take the field each home game. Once on the clock, they make $10.25 an hour. And there's been just some allegations that, like I said, this was the Buccaneers cheerleaders in 2015 sued and said that after all their obligations, their hourly rate kind of equaled $2 an hour.
Huh.
So they won a big lawsuit. The Raiderettes won a big lawsuit. Bills cheerleaders won a big lawsuit. But then,
the Bills disbanded their cheer team, so they didn't have to face the legal challenge over violations of minimum wage.
Sorry, I was going to mention that, and that is, they didn't pay out. Raiders paid out, Buccaneers paid out. Bills didn't want to pay out, so they just...
Bills are like, bye.
We don't have cheerleaders
Girl, bye.
anymore. So, I don't know. I guess, what do you think about? I didn't really have a question. What was my question? How did I pitch this story?
You didn't.
My question was... No, I had a question.
Oh.
Do you think the rules that these cheerleaders follow are fair? Is it discriminatory because male players don't face similar rules?
Dude, yeah. I think it's fucked up. Like, I think it's... It's just crazy that the NFL is making so much money and they're not getting paid at least like $20 an hour. You know what I mean? $10.25 can make that in retail. Like, and they just devote so much time to practices and all that. And I don't know if they're on the clock or not. I think what's weird about this cheerleading stuff too is that they're objects. That's what they are. They're not leading. You are in a giant NFL stadium. You're not leading anyone in cheers.
Right.
Which is like a case that could be made, I guess, for high school and college cheerleading.
You don't even really see them on TV. They'll use like a B-roll cutaway before commercial break. If you see them
on TV, it's of a belly or legs kicking or a big smiley face. Like, it's just, they're objects. Like, they are objects of the game.
Well, make some real cash. Get on the pole, baby girl.
And it's weird that there's like mandated, like, you gotta post for the calendar. You know, like, it's
and they don't
so
get like
weird.
a little cut of the calendar sales.
Yeah, like, it is totally discriminatory, I think, indeed, yes. But I also think that, like,
But
it's stupid career.
well, it's more just like I wouldn't say it's stupid, just
It's
because like
stupid.
it's like I guess to me it's just
They're not even cheerleading. They're just bouncing around. Like, have you seen competitive cheerleading? Those are fucking athletes.
it's,
Those people
yeah,
are amazing athletes. These are not, these are dancers. This is a
right.
dance
It's a
team.
dance team.
Call it that and don't make them
But I
cheer.
think that's the point is that like you can say that the NFL is making a lot of money and not paying these girls, which is on the surface a fact. But I guess the question is how much revenue are the cheerleaders generating? And the fact is, like, I would argue somewhere close to 0%. Whereas the players are generating arguably all of it.
I'm not mad at the players. I'm mad at the
Yeah.
fucking CEOs and the people setting. The players don't set
But
the stand like how
I
much
know,
they're
but I'm
making
saying
or
that's
the
but I'm
rules.
saying the point is I don't ever think that the players are when the players say like we want health care for retired players. We want payouts for this and for these for these CTE injuries, and we want they collective bargain, and they threaten to strike every 4 or 5 years or whatever. Like I always take the player's side because I'm like they're the ones generating the revenue. Like
Putting their body on the line.
we're
Yeah.
paying to see them play. We're buying their jersey. Like we're going seeing them get drafted. Like we're not there to support the owner or even the coach for that
Yeah.
matter. I mean, kind of the coach, but you know what I mean. Like, we're not there going like, we're not like, why do you like the New England Patriots? Oh, because Robert Kraft's my favorite owner.
I
I've just always been a Robert Kraft fan. Like, no, you're a Tom Brady fan or whatever. So they should make the money. That's who's generating the money. I don't think the cheerleaders are generating any revenue.
Well, it just feels okay. All of that aside, right? I discrimination or not in the eyes of the law, it just is gross to me as a female watcher of football that like I mean, and I'm not like I didn't even know who was playing the
You mean
Super Bowl.
when you say that, you mean sometimes you're forced to watch football
Yeah,
because you're married to me.
I go to the Super Bowl parties for the donuts. I was like, who's Bill Belichick? Now I know though, and I've heard his name all the time. What was I gonna say?
I don't know. I didn't even interrupt you that time. You just straight up forgot,
Um,
like a little goldfish.
no. Well, be like, just the. I just hate when, and this isn't just the NFL. This is sports in general. When they'll pick up causes that are supposedly to support women, like breast cancer awareness. Here's our pink gloves and our pink shoes and pink jerseys. But like, it just is so phony. Where it's like, okay, well, you're clearly doing this to like, to make a sale to the 45% of female your viewers who are
Right.
female, right? But then like, you don't care about the bodies of these people on your on your team, basically. The
Yeah.
general team, like your community. You're not taking care of those women's bodies. Like you don't give a shit about them.
Yeah, I mean
It just
that's
feels gross. Like, and that's whatever. That's like a personal
but
thing. But
they're clearly doing it for a reason. Like whenever someone's not forced to do something, it's kind of like are we not getting the whole story? Because it's kind of like you said, like all right, like you're a pretty 24-year-old white woman. Like you could probably do the world is your oyster. At minimum, you could just marry a rich person. At maximum, you're going to have a leg up at any interview you go into, right? Like you could do anything,
I mean, no,
but
not
you
always.
choose
Just
to make $2 an hour. Why? Maybe because you get to go to cool events. Maybe because you just love dancing. That's your art. Hey, I'm an artist. I respect that. Or maybe maybe there's a long-term financial benefit. Maybe they want to, do this for 3-4 years and then start their own dance studio or work for a dance studio. And I'm sure that when people are looking to pay a higher cost for their lessons, I'm sure if you can say former Raiderette, I'm sure
Sure.
that bumps your premium. So maybe there is like a
Sure.
big payoff the same way. I'll do a lot of shows for free. And then even at my level, I'll take that hour that I've practiced at these free shows and go make money. And hopefully, eventually, there'll be a bigger payoff at the end. Maybe there's something like that for them. So again, like, I just think the Bills example is the best example. It's like, it's the same thing. It's like comedy. I would say don't do an open mic for free. ask for $50 an open mic because you're probably bringing as many people to the bar to drink with your open mic, even if it's just comics coming, as the guy that runs karaoke and has 20 people singing, or does trivia and has 20 people come out to sing. So if you're generating that money the same way the trivia guy, the same way the karaoke guy, ask for $50. Ask for at least a free drink tab, something. But if you ask for $500 because I'm the funniest person in the city, even if that's true, they're not generating that off of you, even if it is a very successful bar. So they're going to say, no. They're just going to say
Well,
you
her
can't do,
problem,
and then you don't get to do
her
comedy. So, well, just real quick. So I'm just saying, like, okay, maybe not $2 an hour, but hey, these girls make 10. If they ask for 20, they might just go like, hey, no offense, but if that's what we thought we had to pay for cheerleaders, we're just not going to have them because we don't really care that much. But for $10, sure, you can do it. Gain some experience, get that credit or whatever you're doing it for.
this Bailey girl though, her main thing wasn't the money. It was that she was like suspended or something. I don't know the details, but she was basically disciplined
It looked
because she posted a photo
right.
of something. I don't know. It was against whatever those rules were
seemed
on
like
a private Instagram account.
It
And
sounded
it's
like she posted something like
and in
too
fact,
sexy.
and so like that is like a bigger issue because that's like okay, well, because that affects, I feel like that's a theme for all of us, right? Like, where do you draw the line between private and professional and public, right? If it's a private page, she should be allowed to post whatever she wants and her job can't say anything. Is that allowed to be in contracts? Is that something that she should have, never had to have signed away the right to? They'll figure that out. I think that's interesting. I also think that what is so gross about the whole thing and like is that just women's sexuality is policed in so many ways, so to have your employer do it in that way is, especially when they are banking on your sexuality, like it feels like a jealous boyfriend of like, you can only do it at my house.
I know, but I think if you're representing an organization, I mean, literally are. They're literally like, these are the Saints-sations. We are the New Orleans Saints. These are our Saints-sations. I mean, I think they just want control over how their image is portrayed.
But she's not like, I'm a sensation, Bailey. It's like Bailey D.
I know,
private account.
But I'm sure people know. I mean, dude, it's the same. I mean, I don't think it's completely. I mean, Colin Kaepernick is a male football player.
Heaven forbid girls be sexy.
But Colin Kaepernick is
fired.
a male football player who can't get a football job. Well, it's just a burp.
I know, but I felt I like heard it through the microphone in my ears all the way up.
All right. Anyways, he's a male football player that can't get a job because of what he thinks. You know what I mean? Like, it's not because of his skill, and I guess he is technically suing. And I mean, I have opinions on that, but I don't know. It's like, I would agree with you that what you post on social media needs to be looked at if you should be allowed to if you shouldn't even be allowed to sign away that right to have your employer look at that. But I just don't think I don't think these rules on them are that crazy because of the fact of like, just don't do it then. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be other avenues to profit off an ability to dance.
Totally. Right. And I think that this is just so, I just think cheerleading and like beauty pageants, not competitive cheerleading, like cheerleading with gymnastics and like where they're doing it, they're not like for a team, right? They're not like this prop. They're actually athletes competing. Like, I just think that's a totally different kind of cheerleading. That is cheerleading, Cheerleading though for like teams, and I think beauty pageants are things that are just gonna just end in the next generation or so, because I feel like I did cheerleading and as a kid and did beauty pageants as a kid, and like looking back on it, it's kind of humiliating, those experiences. Even then it was sort of, but like why did I like it? It was fun to dress up. It was fun to show off my talent in a way and get like recognition for it, right? Like, I do my little dance at the talent show, like, or the talent portion of the evening. And like there were I didn't have any other opportunities to like do that stuff and look pretty while doing it, like that to be exciting, right? But now I've made a life where I'm like, yeah, you can get ready every day and you know what I mean, be beautiful however you want to express that, and like work to achieve things of your trophies, right? Like, But back when that was all there was to do, and that was what women in sports did, that was your representation, is you were a cheerleader. Like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I just feel like those are things of bygone eras, and like, or just call them the dance team.
But
Just
they want to do it, so I guess
well,
that's
yeah, I know. I'm
yeah.
like, I
I
wanted
guess
to do it when I was doing it. I just think I think that it
I
will
just don't
evolve
think it's
out of
like
it.
anti-feminist.
No, I
Then
don't think
though,
so.
I don't
I'm
think.
not saying it is. I'm not saying it is. I'm just
Okay.
saying that I think that there, like you said, where there's got to be other ways to like show off your dancing skills. I think that I think there will be more
But
opportunities
that's
or
my point.
artistic
That's my
outlets for that
point. So I just think like again, like
as women's
if you
things gain more
okay, but I'm just saying again,
value.
if you say you went, I don't know, do you go to school for fucking dance, or maybe again you went to school for
Yeah.
whatever, but you were like, you were a cheerleader in college and you studied fucking who gives a shit. But I don't know. I don't know how you even get into dance as like a lifelong passion like after the age of 12, but let's say you're doing it. And I'm not saying like I don't know how like dismissing it. I'm just dismissing it. I just don't know. But let's say you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more saying that I'm sure. So you graduate college either with a degree or with some experience as a varsity cheerleader, whatever. I'm sure when you're 22 and you have that experience, you could go teach at a studio. You could teach private lessons. You could try to get jobs dancing in music videos or become a rockette or what the fuck ever. And you say, I want to be a cheerleader for a professional football team. That's one of many dancing jobs. You must want to do, maybe you saw it as a little girl and you're like, I want to do that. Or maybe you're just a big Saints fan and you're like, I want to be a part of the team as much. I don't know, but there's got to be something. So that's my point is, and they say it's $2 per hour. We control your life for as long as you're on the team. You can't fuck any of the players. Do you still want to do it? And they're saying yes. It's not like they're saying you can't dance again.
Sure.
They're not saying that this is some we don't live in some era where, yeah, like it's just like you said, we don't live in some era where it's like you're a woman, so this is all you can do and we control how you do it. None of that is in place. So they're doing it for a reason. I think it's fair. If you're like, you know what it is, do you still want to do it? And like I said, I would imagine just like every other job, it's the same thing. Football players, again, they're all broke. You know the only ones that aren't broke? The ones that transition into the booth, get an analyst job, become a coach. Like you need a plan. You need to utilize what amounts to, on average, 3 years in a league. You need to capitalize on it. No one's retiring a billionaire. Barely a multimillionaire, most of them. And so that's the whole point is, I'm sure most smart ones do it for some goal-fulfilling reason. And then after 3 or 4 years of not making money, which, we've all not made money in our 20s. So welcome to the club.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the smart ones, again, go to a school and say, former Raiderette. And they probably make $100 an hour teaching to high-end clients.
Coach cheerleading.
Or you can coach cheerleading.
Yeah.
Or you can even, if you're just dumb and like being pretty, I'm sure every fucking rib fest across the country would pay you like a $2,500 appearance fee to stand in a booth for an hour and be like, get you a picture with former Raiderette, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you can monetize your time there.
Sure.
At any number of ways. I'm sure a lot of them do it. And that's what I mean. I'm sure, I don't know. And it's just like I said, like, yeah, I think your point, and I would agree with it, or at least consent with the point that, like, we could have a talk about should jobs in general be allowed to control
it's a bigger
certain
discussion.
aspects of you.
Yeah.
But again, if the whole thing, we just talked about on the first topic, what would make you get off Facebook? What would make me get off Facebook is if my dream job said, hey, don't post anything crazy on Facebook for the next 3 years while you're a part of this. And then once you're not a part of this, hopefully you can parlay this experience into even dreamier jobs or more lucrative jobs. And then we don't own you. So post whatever you want on Facebook. I would just be like, look, I'm not going to even post on Facebook. So my point is, if they say, like, try not to post anything crazy on Instagram, if I wanted to be a saintette or a saint-sation, I would be like, I'm not going to even post anything on. Why do I need an Instagram?
So you think you don't think it's weird that like the players don't have any restrictions against the sensations, but the sensations have them against to stay out of things because
it's not that I don't think it's
players.
weird. I just don't think it's discriminatory just because the same reason. I would assume that a running back, if the team was like, if he was playing, I always wanted to be a football player. I'm making good money, and they were like, don't post. We can have a wider discussion about that. But while that discussion is being had, I'd be like, look, I'm not going to even post any, I'm not going to even risk it. They say I can't post this and this and this. I'm not going to post it all because I'm going to make my $5 million a year for the next 3 years. Then I'm going to try to get a job at ESPN. Then I'm going to pay off my mansion. And then I'm going to retire at 52. That's going to be my tight ass life. And that's the same thing. When you're 28 and you got your $100 an hour teaching in a high-end dancing studio, just fucking get back on Instagram, make your account public, and throw on whatever titty pics or whatever shit you want to do after that. Who gives a shit? And like I said, yes, we can have that discussion, but while the discussion is being had, you know the rules. And it's not the rest of your life. It's going to be a small part of your life. Just don't post. Or just, if it seems like you have even a reasonable coach or a reasonable overseer or whatever, if it's something you want to post, or maybe you're thinking that, you're like, well, if I get a good following now while I'm this, then I can really parlay it when I leave in 3 years. Just go. Just be like, just talk to your coach. Be like, hey, do you think they'd have a problem with this picture? I was going to post it tomorrow. Just, you know what I mean? I don't get I don't get why push the limits on rules when you're in this very specific thing that it would seem that the only reason you'd be doing it is because you really, really want to be here. And you're probably not going to be here for a long time.
I don't know, though.
Why
Would you say
push
the
it?
same thing to that? Who was it? Hannibal Buress broke the Loyola contract that he signed because they said not to like swear and stuff or talk about certain things, and he did. Would you say the same thing about him?
Yeah, because it's the same thing. Even if they paid him, who cares what they paid him? Let's just say it's $10,000. And let's just say that he broke the contract, so now he has to give back his $10,000. How much money do you think how many more fans do you think he got from being the guy that talked, that, was just, you know what I mean? Like, as a comic, there's value in breaking that contract. There's just intrinsic value to your brand as a comic and doing that. I'm not saying he did it that calculated, but I'm just saying it doesn't matter. It still happens that maybe he'll lose a couple Christian fans, but I guarantee you he's gaining net fans. At minimum, he's in the news. Comics don't really get in the news unless they rape somebody, and then no one's going to see your shows again. It's hard for comics to get in news for just an interesting reason, and he did it. So even if he has to pay back his $10,000, he will make that back plus some. So my point is, he had that same decision: either shut up, do a clean hour, and take the $10,000, or maybe lose the $10,000, but maybe make $100,000 over the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think he got paid after he did it.
I mean, I know he made a joke about the check clearing, which I think is fucking hilarious.
So funny.
I love doing that kind of. It's just a good slam.
I think that my strawberry lemonade's giving me a tummy ache.
Oh no, like you got to poop.
It's too much sugar. Yeah, let's move on to topic 3.
Because you're gonna poop your pants.
I'm gonna poop my pants.
Oh no.
Okay, topic 3. That was fun though. Good.
But just real quick, just to close this out, if you have to poo, we can pause and I can vamp like last time. I'm just saying, would you agree with that kind of analogy then? Like, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, he made that choice. I don't think that he knew the rules. He broke them for a variety of reasons, either because he knew it'd pay off, it was long money versus short money, or because the check already cleared, or because he didn't give a fuck. But
right, I don't know, Justin. I don't disagree with you. I don't know what the legalities of this is. This is something that should be fought out in the court, right? I just think it's gross. It just makes the whole story all just makes me feel gross.
I don't think it's discrimination, though.
No, I don't know. I guess I don't know what that means in a legal sense. Do I think it's gross? Yeah. Does it make me not want to support football? Yeah.
All right. Topic 3. What's your topic?
Okay. So I wanted to. This is a fun. So do you read The Atlantic? That I get delivered to our house.
Sometimes while I'm pooping, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll just take this with me when I leave here to the toilet. I love their last page. They have this feature called The Big Question, and they ask one question every month, and then they follow up with like writers and professors, economists, just smart, non-subhuman people, I guess. Justin.
It's true.
And actors, like just what their
subhuman
answer.
Opinions.
Subhuman opinions. That's right. We were on the record. They ask them this question, and then they do like for example, there's ones of like, what was the most interesting event that happened on a holiday that wasn't that holiday. It's really cool. But so the question in this April's edition I loved, and so I want to ask it for our topic 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which fictional house would you most like to live in? And there were some good answers. Someone said the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Nerd.
Tom Hanks' NYC loft from Big.
Mm.
The Draper household from Mad Men. The set of the Miami home of Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia in the Golden Girls. Pippi Longstocking's house, which I love Pippi Longstocking, but that house would be gross. Anyway, so what's your what? I know
Yeah,
you're
just
like I
your
was like
house.
you want to. I know. I feel like I am Pippi Longstocking. What? You're like my horse, the horse that lives with me.
I don't know the story enough.
I know, it's so sad. Well,
That I don't know, or the
yeah,
story
that
said.
you don't know.
What is the
She's
horse
my
in the
girl.
story?
She's a horse that lives with her, that she walks. It's cute.
But does he make
He
a
lives
mess,
on the
or is
porch.
he really clean?
No, he's just cool and lives there.
Oh. Is he anthropomorphic, or is he just a horse?
Just a horse.
He doesn't talk to
The
her?
monkey's anthropomorphic.
There's a monkey, too.
So let's get this over with. What is
So
your,
you can shit?
yeah, what fictional house would you live in?
I was thinking 2 things. I
Okay.
was thinking, it's funny that they said that NYC loft. I was thinking Wayne's World 2,
Mm-hmm.
when they get their own, Wayne moves out of his parents' house and he gets like a loft. I think it would be in Chicago, because he like lives in Aurora in the first one, and then he parties in Chicago. So I think the loft's in Chicago, but now I don't remember. But yeah, it's that dream loft space that like we see in the 90s a lot, and then me and you would love to live in, where it's like you take up a freight elevator, the way you have to like you pull down the gate and then you click it close, and
Yeah, cool.
you pull a big switch and you go up to the 3rd floor.
So charming.
So you go up there, and then it's just like that, like just open loft floor plan. They play like hockey in it at one point, because it's just like this long
So
open
big.
place, and like
That's a
yeah.
good pick. I'd live there.
Or on just like a ghetto luxurious level, it's like DMX's house in the beginning of the movie Belly. It's just like it's like all white and black, like ultra modern / tacky / like when you pass one of those, like when you're in like a ghetto neighborhood and you pass like those furniture stores, they have like a black lacquer like bed frame with like a giant mirror on it. It's like decorated like that, but also like a lot of clean lines and just like black and white artwork on the, and just like I think I've shown you pictures of it before. It's like it's classy and trashy all combined, and just ultra sleek, and just very cool. So maybe like a Chicago loft decorated like DMX's house from the beginning of Belly.
That's a good pick. My pick is I'm sure you've never seen this, but there was an animated series called Barbie's Dream House that ran from 2012 to 2015. I used to watch it with my niece and nephew. Like when they would stay over, we'd watch Barbie Dream House on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's actually super funny. Like I thought it was really well written, and like cool, like the animation was cool. But like it's all about her dream house, so that's like the setting, right? And like the dream house is magical, basically. Like, I mean, first of all, it's dope, right? Like it's huge and pink and castle-y, and it's got all the amenities without the condo association fees, right? Like it's got the pool, the spa, all this stuff. But it also has a kitchen that will just make food for you, and it has this like, there was one episode where Skipper gets lost in the closets, and there's just like a whole wing of closets that just keep building on itself, and there's so many clothes and closets, and like there's a horse in the closet, and like it's just crazy. So I kind of I don't need that many closets and or clothes, but I feel like I'm Shark Tanking them, where I'm like, I like your technology, just not what you're doing with it. So I would take Barbie Dream Home.
Pretty classic and very cheerleadery answer of it. You've become what you hate.
I would make room for all the sensations so they didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
We would build our own dance team and make our own TV show.
Does that mean we're living together with the Sensations? Tight.
Yes, Justin. With magical kitchen.
Sounds like Justin's dream home.
I feel like you live in Barbie Dream House. Just things magically appear for you. Unlimited money. I'm just kidding.
And my dream Barbie has the poop function.
She poops.
She poops. All right. Jackie needs to go leave skid marks on our toilet.
Thanks for listening, guys. Let me do my plugs real fast.
Okay.
I am
Don't
for my
leave till
butt
we're done.
for my
You
butt
can hold it.
unplugs. I know, Justin. Well, let me talk, and then we'll get
Wow,
done
wow.
faster. JackieManty.com. Follow me on Twitter. We said earlier at Jackie_Manty. Follow me on Instagram at Jackie Manty. No underscore. Justin, stop. I have a show tomorrow in Chicago. I'm doing some live lit reading at Duly Noted. Go to Duly Noted on Facebook. That's DULY Noted. Justin, do your plugs so I can go.
Yeah, go see that show. I'll probably be out cheering you along.
Thanks.
Hopefully in a cool outfit. I think I might wear a hat.
You're my Barbie dream girl.
I'm your Ken. I'm your Barbie dream boy. Ken dream boy. Oh, you're shaking it. Shaking it up. Get back
I
into
do
my
this.
belly.
This is the trick. You put your heel of your foot right onto your vulva.
All right.
Keeps everything clocked in.
JustinGolek.com. I got a lot of shows coming up, so come see me if you're local. I should be on the road soon. I'll let you know about that. So JustinGolek.com, upcoming shows. At JustinGolek on Twitter. I'll post a picture of the Lone Star bottle cap. Hit me up with some answers because I don't even know it yet. So you can turn me on to the answer. Remember Justin at Justin Golak if you have a longer message you want to hit me up with. And as always, send me them dick pics. Don't forget to send them tit pics to Jackie at JackieManty.com. Let's see. I think that's about it. The Affront at the-affront2fs.com. Monthly content. We'll be updating that in about a week and a half. A little over. Well, it's like next week, next Tuesday. But there's good shit up there right now. More good shit coming up. Good shit first Tuesday of every month.
I'm about to take a good shit.
Finally, Killing Your Darlings at the Den Theater, third Friday of every month. So the first one was great. Second one's coming up on 420, baby. April 20th at 10 p.m. You can buy advance tickets. If you go to JustinGolek.com, the upcoming shows tab, there's a buy tickets link in the Killing Your Darlings little section of that. Or you can go to the Den Theater's website, which I think is the Den Theater. I think it's an R before E because it's a real theater. You can Google it too. I don't know. Just go to JustinGolek.com
R-E for real.
JustinGolek.com. Upcoming shows. That's the best way to do all that shit. That's your base. That's your home base.
And also your home base, lowclass.com, lo-class.com.
.com. All right. I guess we'll let Jackie go.
I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.